Hi, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do a tutorial on this zipper pouch that I made. Inside the pouch, it's lined, and I also put pockets in there. This is fabric that I used in a tutorial. I think it's Feathering the Heart, and I didn't want to throw it away because I thought it was really pretty, and so I wanted to use it. Now, you determine your fabric size. I'm using a piece of fabric that's 13 by 14 that I quilted in a tutorial, and I just wanted to use it and make a bag with it. Now, you are going to need your top fabric. Your top fabric determines what your lining size will be and your zipper size. Just understand that when you fold your fabric, that's what's going to be the height of your fabric. Now, with the lining, what I did is I measured it the same as the top, but I shrunk it in the height area by 1 inch so it wouldn't puddle. But if you don't want to do that, you can go ahead and just cut your fabric the same as your top fabric. You are going to need a zipper at least 1 inch larger than your top fabric, and I recommend that you get wonder clips and use your pin. And so here I just got the zippers at Hancock Fabrics, and now we're going to start the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pocket fabric. I'm going to start my pocket. What I did is I wanted my pocket to be 4 inches high, and I doubled it up because I'm going to fold it in half and sew it. And just make sure that when you place your pocket on top of the lining that you give yourself 1 inch away from the zipper. And so here you see me with my fabric. I just made sure that it was as wide as my top fabric because it's going to go all the way across half of the bag. And so here you see me on the sewing machine. I'm going to go ahead and sew it. And I'm going to reverse it back, and I'm ironing it right now, or getting ready to iron. And I'm going to just iron it down. You start working on your pocket before you even start putting the bag together. What I did with my lining is I folded it in half and folded it in half again to get my center marks. And now I have my pocket where it needs to be. And I'm starting to write sew seams, I guess. And I'm determining right now what I want my pockets to look like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sewing machine and sew on those lines, and I'm going to tack the pocket onto the lining. And so that's what I'm doing right now. In this place right now, I'm going backwards and forwards and making sure, because this is going to be 3 individual pockets. I want a bigger one and 2 smaller ones that are going to be inside my bag. And I'm just making sure it's tacked down. And here you see me sewing the very bottom of the pocket and closing it so that my stuff has something to sit on. And then I'm going to do that twice so that I make sure that I have some stability there and a little bit more structure. And now we're going to start putting the fabric together to make the bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my fabric upright facing me, my top fabric. I'm going to lay the zipper facing down, and I'm going to lay the lining facing down also. And I'm going to get those wonder clips, and I'm going to start just clipping those 3 pieces together. And as I'm clipping everything, I'm making sure that everything's in line, that nothing's shifting on me. So when I go on the sewing machine, I do a very clean, straight line. What I'm doing here is I'm sewing away from the zipper pull, and I'm going to sew a straight line all the way down. I recommend you get your zipper foot if you have one. My machine, my foot's not that big, so I went ahead and just used it. And here I'm pulling that zipper pull down so I could sew in that area where I didn't sew. What I'm going to do here is I'm making sure I'm pulling that lining away from the fabric and the zipper. I want to make sure that I iron really well here because I'm going to go and sew a seam right to the edge of the fabric and the zipper so that that lining doesn't get caught to the zipper when I'm zippering back and forth when I have the bag together. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to the sewing machine and sew right to the edge of that seam and do a really nice, clean, straight stitch. Now what this is going to do is it's going to secure that lining away from the zipper so you won't have zipper issues down the road. And it also does a beautiful, clean line on the top fabric so it makes a professional look. Now you're going to grab your other fabric. So in a minute, the picture is going to come up, and go to the other end of the zipper. I'm using my top fabric, and the lining is on the opposite side of the zipper. And now we're connecting the other side of the zipper to the bag, I guess. And now you're going to use those wonder clips, and you're going to connect all 3 layers together and make sure they're all in line. Also make sure that your right side and your left side, that the seams are straight and they're connected, as you see me looking right there, making sure that that edge is clean so that when you sew your bag together, it's all in line. It's not shifting on you at all. And now we're going to go to the sewing machine and sew another straight seam. At this time, you could pull your zipper pull away, but I'm sewing at the other end and you see me sewing a straight seam kind of close to the zipper, but not right to the edge or the fabric will get caught. And then I'm pulling, in a minute, I'm going to pull that zipper foot away and I'm going to go ahead and sew to that end. Now I'm going to turn my fabric right side out and I'm just going to start pulling that lining again like I did on the opposite side. The good thing about this is having a bigger zipper is the zipper itself will not be a hindrance when you start sewing this other seam. And that's why I like a little bit bigger zipper when I'm doing this. It doesn't get in my way and I could do a really clean seam line as you're going to see in a minute. And so here I'm pulling that lining. Now I do have 3 layers of fabric on the top fabric and 1 layer and the zipper. So that's a lot of layers to push down and make sure you have nice and straight and together. And here you see me on the sewing machine doing that beautiful straight seam, and you see how close right there I am to that seam line. And then we're going to get ready to put the bag together. Now, this is the fun part for me. I love the finished product, and so here we're almost done. Can you believe it? We're going to go ahead and reverse the bag again so you can see all the seam lines. I do recommend when you're connecting the center, which is the zipper, the top fabric, and the lining. So there's a lot of layers right there. Make sure you put a pin there. I did a wonder clip and I had problems with the seam it shifted on me. So I think a pin works better. Make sure your zipper pull is inside the bag and also make sure that your zipper is not closed, because if it is, you're not going to be able to reverse right side out your bag. And so here you see me on the sewing machine sewing that lining, and just keep sewing and make sure that you have a straight seam. And in this area right here, just make sure that nothing shifts on you, because for me, what I've noticed when it shifts on me, that zipper looks kind of ugly on the cornered ends. And now I'm doing the other side. I'm going backwards and forwards when I'm starting, and I'm going to start sewing all the way down, and here I'm in the center. Make sure that your zipper is laying towards the lining. And so here you see me right there, and I'm going to leave myself a 2-inch opening, and I'm going to cut out all the extra material, that extra ½ inch or inch of zipper, and I'm going to turn it right side out. What I'm going to do here is I want to see if my zipper is shutting well, if it's not shifted on me. I also want to make sure that my edges look nice and clean. And you're really kind of finished if you like this look. What I want mine to look like is more like a makeup bag instead of a pencil bag. And so here you see me checking the corners of the zipper and making sure this is the time right now to change it and fix it if you don't like it. The lining is still open. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reverse the bag so I see the seams again. And what I wanted to do is I want to do almost like a pleat. And so I'm going to make a triangle right there, and I'm going to measure 1 inch. You can measure 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I'm using 1. And start measuring right there and draw a line. And then you're going to go to your sewing machine and sew 3 times. That's what I do anyway. And this way, because I want to make sure this area is real nice and secure, because you don't want it to open on you later on down the road. And then you're going to cut the excess fabric off. And here you see me making that triangle. I already drew my line, and I'm going backwards and forwards and sewing that area, and I'm cutting it off. Now it's a great time to right side out your bag. And the next thing you have to do is just sew your lining. And since I already checked the zipper and all that stuff, I already know that my bag's in good condition, and I'm just going to close it now. So what you're going to do is pull your lining out and just fold in all those extra materials so that you have a nice straight seam, and just sew a straight line right there and go backwards and forwards, and you're shedding it. And cut any excess thread off and then start tucking that lining inside the bag. So here's what your bag looks like. What I wanted to do is I wanted my bag to look a little bit more schmancier, more fancy. And so what I went in and I got some hot fixes at Hobby Lobby. I also bought some at Amazon that are really cheap. The bag costs like $3 for 50 embellished. hot fixes. They're 10 cc's. I don't know what that means, but that's the size I got. And so here I'm getting my tweezers and I'm moving those hot fixes around. All you need is your iron on high heat with no steam. And I'm moving all those hot fixes around. And you're going to get your iron and you're just going to lay your iron on top of those hot fixes where you place them and just let it sit there for 20 seconds. And then after you've counted 10 to 20 seconds, move it to a different position and then move it again. And the neat thing about these hot fixes is you can wash your bag and they will not come off. And so this is what my bag looked like after I put some embellishment on there. And here's the bag we were working on in the tutorial. I used some blue, and this is the inside with the pockets. The one in the pocket was big enough to put sunglasses, and the other two pockets fit my cell phone. And so you could really make this bag to what you want, to the things that you want your pockets to be like. And this is the back view. And this is the front of the bag. I really do hope you like this tutorial. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.